It's the Seahawks and the Lions, and it comes your way next on EA Sports.
The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in week 2. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. Russell Wilson leads out the Seattle Seahawks offense. The veteran Wilson, a third-round pick back in 2012.
And he was terrific in the opener, threw 3 touchdown passes, and make no mistake about it, he was eager to get right back out and do it again. So I think we'll see him try to test the secondary quite a bit as this game goes on.
A first carry for the all-pro running back, it's Josh Jacobs. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Call it officially a loss of 2 on the first play from scrimmage. Second down.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through. But that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
It'll be a gain of 5, and it's going to bring up a third and about 7 left.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. Here's Wilson to throw. He completes it to Boyd. And they're able to get this one across the 35. They get 17 on that one, move the chains, first down Seahawks. And CD, defensively, you're going against a hot quarterback coming off a 3-touchdown game in their victory a week ago. But what's the big key for them to try to slow him down?
You ask all the tough questions, don't you, partner? Because with this guy, if you blitz him, he takes advantage of that man coverage and burns you. But if you bring on those extra DBs, he sits back there and does what he wants. To me, it's going to be those DBs. When they catch the ball, big-time tackles really put it on those receivers.
A check on Jacobs from a week ago. 20 carries, 101 yards, and a score.
Well, they set a nice tone in week 1. He's among the leading rushers in the league. I think that they continue to feed him the football and continue to establish the running game so they can get the play action and throw the ball deep later on.
So the completion results there in 9 yards. And they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches. Throwing is Wilson. Rush coming, and he's taken down. The sack there by Roquan Smith. Well, anytime you sack Russell Wilson, that's a win for the defense. But to get him here on his opening drive of the ballgame, that's a really big win for that defense.
And the goal every week, keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get to the perimeter, because when he's in the open field, not only can he hurt you, but also you lose sight of receivers downfield, and they'll hurt you with big plays.
A 41-yard punt, 9 on the return, and the Lions will take over. So now we'll get a look at the other offensive unit as they come out for their first possession. They'll be led out by a man who nearly broke the single-season rushing record for quarterbacks last season. A true dual threat out of Ohio State, Justin Fields.
And he comes off a tough.
There he goes, left side. He's on his way. Touchdown, Detroit. Ken Walker, his first touchdown here in the new campaign. And the Lions will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. And with his speed, if he just finds the slightest crease, he can take it the distance like he did there.
How about the leverage up front? Offensive line out-leveraging the defensive front to create that space, that crease that he was looking for. And once he hits open field, he's going to be very difficult to catch and corral.
Extra point by Bass, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. Seattle's offense coming back onto the field, ready for their second drive. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, They had to punt it away, this time hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. They'll begin on the ground with Jacobs. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They had everyone crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
2nd and 9. Now Wilson. Now the pressure comes, and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Loss of 10 as multiple defenders get to it. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Seahawk football here to start quarter number 2, as they've got it with a 3rd down and long coming up. Here's Wilson. And this is going to be incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early. And now it's 4th down. And here's Ryan Wright now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. 44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. Here's Williams to return. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he will score. Touchdown, Lions. He goes 57 yards on the punt return. And the Lions are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead.
When you've got a guy that fast back there to receive punts, that's a nightmare for the guy game planning, the special teams coach, but it's also a nightmare for the punter. Sometimes they get so nervous that they mishit the ball and kick it right to him.
An extra point by Bass, up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. So after the punt return touchdown, let's see what their opponents can do with this kickoff. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive, but at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer, and make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Being chased out left. It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's 3rd down.
I'm not quite sure what he thought he saw there, but the reality was certainly a much different picture than what he anticipated. And give credit to the defense. They were down on a flash when he broke out of there, and they forced him out with almost nothing to show for it.
Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. And they'll stop him at the 1-yard line, but small consolation there following the turnover. The pocket collapsed around him. I know we talk about it a lot, but a QB has to have that sixth sense, doesn't he?
He really does, and I know of one team at one point.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Kenneth Walker with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. Have moved out in front by 3 touchdowns. Here's Bass now for the extra point. And it is now 21-0. A nice tidy little drive there, getting the ball in excellent field position, and only one play to score it. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession. but I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer, because only a few teams in league history have ever come back from a 4-score deficit. And if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
In trouble, and the ball's out. It's in the end zone loose. And this will be gathered up in the end zone. And that's a defensive touchdown. Charles, they are putting on a show right now. I mean, with that fumble return for the touchdown, you think about the size of this advantage. Heck, it's a 4-score game right now, and we're still in the first half.
And that has to be the highlight, Brandon, with how infrequently we see fumbles return to the house. But if you aren't inclined to pick this as the game signature play so far, you do have no shortage of alternatives to select from. This has been nothing short of a clinic. And as noted, we still have a half a ball to play.
And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They got to find a way to bring those two elements together.
And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. Quinnen Williams able to get in there yet again. That's already 3 sacks for him here in this first half of football.
That's a pretty darn good start to his season, huh? A sack in the opener, adds a second one here. That tells you about his offseason. He came in determined to have a big year, and it's paying off.
On third down, here comes Jacobs. And a short gain here as he gets it up only to about the 6. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down.
We often talk of situational football. Let's just call it team football. The defense did their job, got off the field, brought up a punting situation, so they're turning the ball back over to their offense. You think those guys will get along very well right now? Of course they will. Defense helped the offense. Now it's their turn to take it downfield.
And bulldozing his way through. And he'll head out of bounds inside the 10. Mark him down at the 9. Oh, he nearly broke that one. As it stands, though, a heck of a 36-yard run back. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. Here's Fields. He completes this to Walker. And he's able to get this down to the 5-yard line before he's out of bounds. Nice job defensively to hold him to 4, and now it's 2nd and goal. Now Fields. And he's got his man. It's caught for a Lion touchdown. Noah Fant in the final seconds of the first half. And the Lions will extend their lead here just before halftime. Extra point by Bass, up and good. And the route is on here in this first half. So not much time to work with here. 9 seconds remain in the half as this one is away. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we've reached halftime here in what is quickly turning into quite a... Sorry, Coach, put a pin in that. We are going to move right on to the third quarter here. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. The Lions in the lead, and they're going to get the football first as well as the second half is underway. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28. So here are the Lions to take over. They were losers to Kansas City a week ago, but they are out in front right now.
Here we go.
Third quarter begins with a run by Walker. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. 93 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. All right, I got to ask you, with these RPOs, essentially the quarterback has three options, right? So what's different from that versus the triple option that we see the service academies run at the college level?
As a general rule, the triple option at the college level, most things are called outside of the quarterback faking it to the runner and then keeping it himself and maybe having a trail back. What I mean is, in the NFL, that option to throw the football all comes about organically. It's a natural deal based on reads. In college, if you're going to throw the football for triple option, you've actually called that play.
Things looking much rosier for them here in week 2. They work with the lead as they've got it 1st and 10. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 10 more there and another first down.
Yeah, another good run there. He's been such a big part of their success here this afternoon. And that last carry, it puts him over 100 yards now for the day.
And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds. That's good for 21 yards and a first down. Defensively, you give up the big chunk play there on the ground. Now they really have to bow up.
They certainly do, but I know how offensive linemen think. They don't care that the defense is going to bow up. They want to dominate them. They want to get into the end zone first and have the running.
And in for the Lions touchdown. Ken Walker, a 2-yard touchdown grab. And the Lions take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. Extra point by Bass, up and good. And it is 42-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. Now we'll see what this Seahawks offense has in store with their first possession of the second half. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now 1st and 10 at their own 27. He'll give it to Jacobs to start the drive. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled.
Holding offense.
Colton Miller, former first-round pick, called for the penalty there. Counter play with Jacobs. He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2. Well, you're just looking at the scoreboard and where we're at in the third quarter. I don't know that it's going to matter much at this point, CD, but these small runs on the ground, they're not going to get it done.
No, they're not. And right now, the guys stopping the run have been superior in this ball game, giving them no openings, no seams, and now they've got this game well in hand.
This defense just continues to bottle up that ground game. And look, I mean, the deficit right now for this offense is so big that it might not matter. But you're still in the third quarter. They're probably going to have to try things through the air, Charles.
I agree with you totally. That's what they'll have to do. They do need to.
Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. Rashawn Gary able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon. And here's Ryan Wright now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. On the return is Williams. And there he goes again. And he takes it all the way, but there is a flag down, so hold the celebration. This one's coming back.
Offside. Defense.
And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
And he's loose again. Touchdown, Detroit. A 71-yard punt return. And the Lions are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter. This offense certainly looking a lot more comfortable here at home. They lost last week in the opener on the road, but there's something about that home opener makes you feel more settled.
Yeah, I wish we could quantify it, too, because you're playing the same game. The field's the same, size. We know all of that. But being at home, sometimes when you do things well, you get that extra push from your home fans, and it elevates your game.
And in the driver's seat right now. Tyler Bass now for the point after. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. Well, we know he has home run hitting ability in the punt return department, and he showcases it there all the way back for 6. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. And he will be taken down here on the return on what will wind up being the final play of this third quarter. Back now at Ford Field. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result. And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. Quinnen Williams able to record his 5th sack of the season.
Partner, my vocabulary isn't that great, but to me, there's only one word that fits this front seven today, and that's dominant. 4 and 5 sacks is already rare in one game. Getting to more than 6 in one contest while winning by this many points, an absolutely astounding effort by every player involved.
Kenneth Walker headed back out there. They'll be looking to get in the end zone again. Had the touchdown, as you see, last drive on 4 carries. And during the break, we were looking at some of the replays from the previous drive. Really good holes created, great space.
Yeah, I like the observation you had, though, during that break about, okay, they've got to do something to slow down their runners. So is it bringing in more defensive linemen? Is it dropping in extra linebackers? What are you going to do? Personally, I'm going to take my safety and drop him into the box. I'm going to have at least 7 in there until he shows that he can beat me through the air.
Yeah.
I've got to slow down the...
You'll take the exposure in the passing game over the top until you can prove that you can stop the running game.
Sometimes you go cold because you haven't thrown it in a while. Let's see if he can heat up again. Despite writing it down on my notes, I never give enough credit to the offensive line, and we have to here. The protection, that's what made this play a success. Quarterback had to wait for his crossing route to develop, and that takes a little bit of extra time. Excellent job by the big fellas up front.
Fields throw into the hands of Fan. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down. From the gun, here's Fields. The quick slant caught, and they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Things are rocking easy here in the fourth quarter. They've got to feel pretty good about this one. Actually, they've got to feel excellent. Tough loss in the opener. No way they wanted to go 0-2.
I don't want to read too much into it, but psychologically, is there something much bigger about 0-2 than 0-1?
Oh, without a doubt, and here's the biggest one. Guys like you and me, all the media, are going to talk about, well, you know how hard it is to make the playoffs when you start 0-2, and that starts to work its way through a team.
And now they're working towards 1-1. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And he's only going to make it to the 13-yard line and no further. And out now come the Seahawks. Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film section tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And the job becomes twice as difficult now. After the sack, it's 2nd and 20. From the gun, it's Wilson.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like in the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
Facing the prospect of a punt from their own end zone, they need some cushion. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down. To throw is Wilson. And he'll go down in the end zone. Down goes Wilson. It's a safety. Well, this defense has been smothering all game long. Why not give them 2 more points here in the closing minutes?
Well, they've certainly earned it. They've gotten the better of this offensive line for 4 quarters. And this sack here will just be a little icing on the cake.
Now the free kick comes after the safety from the 20 as they bring the punter on to try and get some hang time here. Here's Hardman to return. And Detroit getting set to go now. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would have, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate, but we'll see what they decide.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. So, Charles, the bad taste from that opening week loss, that's just a memory now. This has been a very strong performance as they score.
Yeah, I know it's only week 2, but you're exactly right, because this team felt like they let one get away in the opener. And not only were they determined to not let the same thing happen here, they knew that they had to correct a bunch of things. So everything that went wrong in game 1, they took care of business with it in game 2.
Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further. And Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
He finds his man, complete. It's Jacobs. But despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. 2nd down.
Well, Brandon, we could see that play developing, and they were hoping that he was going to be able to put a move on the first guy and turn it into a big play. but no such luck. The speed on defense continues to get better and better.
Pressure gets to him, and down he goes. Back at the 4-yard line. Rashawn Gary. Who else? He's in there for his 4th sack of the afternoon.
Let's go ahead and put check marks by it all, partner. No points. Down by 4 touchdowns. Haven't had anything going today on offense. Why not add a late sack to the mix? Obviously a day to forget for all involved. Let's give plenty of credit to this defensive effort. They've been excellent from start to finish.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
So from their own end zone here, this kicks away. And taken at the 46. Nice punt, but good work on the return to get back 11 yards. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest.
Here we go. We're good. Go.
Walker now on 1st and 10. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
I think we all suspected that they were going back to him after he found the end zone on his last carry, and they kept the positive momentum going there. Another nice run by him.
2nd and 5. That one looks like he'll throw here. And that's going to be caught downfield by Phillip. And he takes it in for the score on the game's final play, so it doesn't affect the outcome, but a little whipped cream on top to their ending.
Or as our friends in Bayou Country would say, that's a little lagniappe, a little extra on top. Well, this is long since over, and some might see this as overkill, but remember, this is a team that puts on the hard hats, grabs the lunch pail, and tells everyone, we're going to give you a full 60 minutes, and that's exactly how they're playing this one out.
For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics.